these plants today, and I thought I would just show you the process. So that's going to include mixing up my premium potting mix as well as some other types of mix for cactus. And then lastly, I'm going to show you how I convert like this Philodendron Brazil to leca. So first thing I suggest doing is taking your plants, if they're in a soil that was from the grower, it's probably not good stuff. I haven't found one yet that was. And you want to unpot it from that and shake off as much excess as you can without disturbing the plant too much. But you need to get those roots at least exposed, and then find the appropriate pot size. So I've got each of my plants unpotted from their original pot, and then found a nursery pot that I like the size of that I think will be good for them. And then I place them all in there just so I have everything ready to go. So first, what I'm going to do here is, this is a little very small Arrowhead Syngonium, and I have pre-mixed our premium potting mix over here. And this one is a good all-purpose. So it's got perlite, pumice, cocoa coir, worm castings in it, and some other things. And this really helps support the plant in every single way. And those key ways that a plant needs to be supported are through adequate oxygenation, free flow of water, water retention and drainage, and then nutrient support. If you don't have these elements and at the right ratios, your plants can't be successful. So as you can see there, I just was very gently placing this Arrowhead at the level that I want it to be at in the pot, and then I filled around the pot. So it's a little wobbly in there. I very lightly tapped down the soil. And also an important part is to pre-moisten your soil a little bit. So that way when you're filling that pot, you won't need to water it in, because this plant, honestly, you know, it's going to be traumatized from being transplanted. You just want a little bit of moisture there so that the soil is the right kind of consistency, so it really gets in and you don't have any weird air pockets without it being sopping wet. So I love the way the terracotta looks in the contrast with the green. So let's do some more plants that are going to be just in the standard potting mix, like this Aglinemia here. It's an Aglinemia cutlass, or I think some people call it an Aglinemia bamboo. So I put a little soil in the bottom, and then I just kind of figure out at what height I want the plant, and then I'm going to fill in around the sides, just going around the sides. Okay, and now I'm going to be quiet for a little bit, and I'm just going to continue potting. And once I get to the point where I'm ready to amend the soil to make it more of a gritty mix, I'll explain that. Okay, this is the last one I'm going to be planting in the standard mix. This is the last, or the second, I should say, Arrowhead plant, Syngonium, similar to the one I just potted up in leca. And then the rest of these are going to be amended. I mean, the soil is going to be amended. We're actually going to amend it twice. We're going to just continue to add amendments. The most amendments are obviously going to be the cactus mix. So first, I'm going to amend this slightly. So let me set these guys over here. These are the ones that are already done and finished. I can set them So next I am going to be planting, this is a Ficus Audrey. So I probably would have just put this in the standard potting mix, but this is actually a repot that I'm doing for a customer who I know, and she knows it too, is a tendency to forget to water her plants. Her plants that she's sent me to repot have been bone dry, all of them, which honestly isn't the end of the world. Some plants will die, yes, but a lot slower than if you overwater. So it's definitely the lesser of two evils. But because I know that she's got that tendency to not water her plants at all, I'm going to amend this with a little more water retentive quality while still maintaining that free draining quality. So I know that sounds like a little bit of an oxymoron, but it's actually, it does work. So what I'm using is Calcined Clay. So I'm just going to put a little bit in the current premium mix here. So Calcined Clay is expanded clay, and this is great because it retains some extra water. With that clay expansion that's expanded under really high heat, it causes obviously the clay to expand, and then therefore it can absorb more water. So, and it's also still very gritty though. So they use it frequently in bonsai mix. So because it's a more rocky substrate. So the reason why it's also going to work for a cactus mix that we're going to turn this into is because it does have that grit. Now I didn't add a ton of it because you don't want to end up with a ruddy, really over soggy soil, right? There is a ratio to it. There is a skill to adding calcined clay to your soil. And you want to be careful. You don't want to add it too much, especially if someone's an overwaterer. Err on the side of caution here. So there is the Ficus Audrey now, all potted up, and hopefully it'll be able to weather the drought that's going to happen, I guess, with this particular owner. It's okay, just as long as you own the fact that that's who you are. You know who you are, you know. Okay, and now next I'm going to be amending it for these little Pilea Glauca. So these are succulents, and actually I'm going to be amending it pretty much the same for all these, because these are all delicate root system plants. These are Mistletoe Cactus, really cute, I love it. And then the Pilea Glauca. So these are all, and some people call them baby tears. And this is the first time I've had the Mistletoe Cactus, and I'm just loving the way that it grows, kind of weird and kind of scraggly, like scruffy beard. And then against the color contrast against the terracotta is really great. And then I also have this Ornamental Cabbage. Now usually these are grown outdoors. I'm going to try growing it indoors. And when I unpotted it, surprisingly the potting mix was very sandy. So I thought, I mean, I don't know if that's what it needs or not, but I'm going to assume so. And in that case, I want to amend the soil to make it kind of similar to that, because like I said, I've never grown these before, so I don't know. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add that sandy, gritty component. So if you can see in there, this is my sandy, gritty mix. Those little orange bits, that's the substance called turfus. It's often used in bonsai as well. And this is very different than just using straight up play sand like so many people do, and like Miracle-Gro has in their cactus mix. As you can see, this is a lot grittier. This has got silica sand, pumice, perlite, turfus, diatomaceous earth. There's a lot of good stuff in here, and it's not only is it providing that grit, but it's also helping, like, you know, prevent pests and retain some moisture or help with drainage. So this is good stuff. So I am just going to, let's see, looking at how much pot we have. I feel like I've got the right amount of mix in here. So I'm actually going to be pouring all of that sand in there and then mix it in. See, and you can hear it as I'm mixing that sound right there, that it's got more grit to it. That's why I think it's an actual joke when Miracle-Gro sells their cactus and succulent mix, or their cactus and palm mix. And like, I remember, I didn't buy it. I saw it at a friend's house, and I remember like cupping it in my hand and looking at it really closely, trying to see the granules of sand, and I couldn't. Definitely didn't hear that sound. So I think they just slap a different label on there and throw some sand in it. And if anyone has used it before, I'm sure you can attest to the fact that it did not help with drainage of your succulents or your cacti. So don't waste your money on that crap. But do invest in a high quality premium mix. We have a small business called the Soil Bar, where we produce all kinds of custom grow media and mix, including cacti and succulent mix. You can find a link in the description below to our Linktree account, which will then you can click on the link to our shop or our other social media pages. So okay, I'm really hoping this cabbage survives indoors, because it is so, well, it looks like childhood to me, like a Cabbage Patch doll. Look at that color. Now this is ornamental cabbage. These are grown for their color. They are not grown for their ability to provide you with a healthy thing that you can eat. So don't eat this. Okay, so now the Pilea Glauca. So this guy likes to be kept relatively moist, and they do. Their little tiny leaves are just the cutest freaking thing. These have become more and more popular lately, and so they used to, you could find them at like garden stores all the time, but now they are becoming harder to find, and I think people have kind of caught on to how freaking cute they are, and everybody wants these little tiny leaf trailing plant. They're also great for aquariums. Make a great, some people even have used them in the past as ground cover, but honestly I think they're too valuable at this point as a houseplant. So when you've got something really delicate like this and you can't go in between the roots and like get it in there, just knock the sides of it, pat it, and that'll help kind of settle it into the pot. You can also water it in a little bit. Okay. And then I have to get to this one because I'm so excited about it. This Mistletoe Cactus. Who would ever think that that's a cactus, right? And we're given this the added benefit of growing it in terracotta, so that'll help even more with that wicking away moisture, and also really providing that oxygen, because this is like it's a semi-permeable membrane, technically, terracotta is, where oxygen and water can freely exchange across this barrier. So that's really good for making sure the plant's able to dry out between waterings. And there it is. Look at how cute that is with the terracotta contrast. Oh, I love it. All right, well, I'm going to finish up doing these little other ones off camera. Otherwise, this video will be forever. But thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I will also, I know I mentioned the Philodendron Brazil back there. I will be posting a separate video on how I repotted that in LECA. So you'll be able to find that in the description below. And I'll link it down below. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was interesting and informative, and it gave you some tips and ideas for how you can grow your plants more effectively and efficiently. And if you have any questions, of course, please list it and ask it in the comment section, and I will get back to every single one of you. And hit subscribe. Bye, guys.